UFC Unfiltered. Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier.
I'm made for a fucking podcast. We're dangerous. Listen to me. We're out of here.
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. I'm going crazy right now because I can hardly hear myself at all. Like these headphones, I literally, if I could eat these headphones and then shit them out and step in them, I would. I hate not being able to hear myself, even though people who have to hear me know it's a blessing. We also have a very good show over the next couple of shows, Matt.
Yes.
We are going to be looking at UFC Moment of the Year. We are going to be looking at Fighter of the Year, just kind of taking our picks on that, Knockout of the Year and Fight of the Year over the next couple episodes. And today we have comedian Adam Ray. We also have Megan Olivi joining us, and we'll be discussing a couple of our picks for these things. But what did you think of the card?
I've been waiting for you, Adam Ray. What's that song? It's Billy Ray, but what's that? You got to know what comedy that's from.
I don't know, actually.
I've been waiting for you, Adam Ray.
I don't know.
All right, it's not. I said it twice, not to make you. I know you didn't know it, but just to confirm that you didn't know it.
No.
Adam's ready whenever you are. All right, well, let's get him in. But that was from Trading Places. It wasn't Adam Ray. I believe it was Billy Ray. But hey, man, welcome to UFC Unfiltered, Jimmy.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to be missing you when we're done with these. We're going to be done soon for these shows. We have another one.
Yep.
And then I'm not going to be missing you.
That's right.
Because you're a comedian, are you one of those guys that says, hey, I'll see you next year? Are you one of those guys?
Yeah, but I say it in June, and it's always nice. All right. Adam Ray. Hey, Adam. How you doing?
What's up, guys? Man? How are you? Good to see you.
Hi, Adam.
Good.
What's up,
how you doing?
Matty?
Nice
Good, Jim.
to see you again.
You too, bud. Do I sound all right?
Yeah, you sound good, but I can tell you broadcast because you have a good microphone set up. You got your name in the back. So that's how I know somebody is comfortable broadcasting.
Yeah. Plenty of wires, some Ninja Turtles just to show that I don't get any pussy. Yeah, it's good.
I see one Ninja Turtle behind you.
Yeah, you got the whole cast in there. It's just
there's
a box of some bullshit. Yeah, man. My buddy painted that. So.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you a fan?
Oh, big fan. Yeah. I mean, when the first movie came out, I mean, God, what was I? Probably 9 years old. You know, there's a handful of things cinematically, and I feel like in sports wise, where I'm like, I'm glad I was at the right age to see that at that time. Like, and that movie, I mean, shit, I would definitely look around sewers for a while, hoping to see actual turtles come out. That says a lot about like just, the school I went to and, the intelligence I was working with, where I was like, this is based on a true story, But yeah, I loved it. I loved the movie.
Hey, man, I don't think it is about the right age. I'm a big kid too, but I don't think Secret of the Ooze will age well. I don't think that's
they tried to
throw that in on a boring night. You probably
not to nerd too much out on it, but the first one I guess was so indie and like raw, and they had actual they still had martial artists in the suits for the second one, but apparently the big note was to like make it super kid friendly. That's why they were like, hey, nothing says kid friendly like Vanilla Ice.
Yeah,
the sequel to fucking
the ninja
rap. It caught on though, man. It's
yeah,
it's a classic. It's a who doesn't love it.
It's Who Let the Dogs Out. What a Wonderful World.
Yeah.
And
the Ninja Turtle rap. Yeah. Hey, by the way, you're on you're on Young Rock. You play young Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And how much interaction? Because I like The Rock. We've talked to. I don't know him.
Oh, cool.
And now I guess you deal with him on set. And have you actually spent time with Vince to kind of get him down at all?
I haven't yet, but I've heard from Dwayne. I mean, just countless, him and the rest of the guys who put the show together. His production team, just countless stories about him to kind of help shape it. I'm going to speak with them and hopefully actually see them and kind of sit down and just have some cocktails and get into it a little bit more before I go. Because season 2, it takes you through when he's out of University of Miami and he's now like fully into the wrestling world.
Right.
So that's why Vince is going to be a lot bigger part of this season, which is cool. Because he just wasn't too much in it when he before he went to Memphis and just started really becoming The Rock. That's when Vince kind of makes his appearance. And so, but there's a lot to unfold there, man. I mean, just their relationship, how he championed him just into the sport, and kind of was, more or less a father figure for him. And there's a lot that he's told me that I was shocked at how much they're going to actually like show that in the show. So that'll be cool.
And you're an MMA fan, or are you like a WWE fan? Because I used to watch it when I was a kid. I don't watch it much anymore. Yeah. MMA is kind of what I watch now. Do you watch both, or do you watch one more than the other?
Probably more MMA. I mean, I definitely had a Hulk doll and some fucking, I up until about probably high school, and then I started tuning out and chasing other stuff. But MMA now, yeah. I mean, and I did this podcast with Chuck Liddell for a little bit, and that really like took things up a notch, because just when you're around somebody that much and you can get just more daily insight and stories, it just makes you want to kind of go back down rabbit holes and just tune in and pay attention to a lot more of like even just stat wise than I was before.
You don't do that anymore, that podcast? Icebreakers?
Yeah. No, they put a wrap on season 1, and I think, we had some cool ones, man. We had, Anderson Silva and Dana White and Matthew McConaughey, and it was dope, man. Chuck is you forget how, he's a Hall of Famer, man, and how much people like adore that guy and just want to be around him. I mean, seeing Chuck like geek out to McConaughey and be like, my favorite movie is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, man. I fucking love it, man. I fucking love it. And and man, Anderson Silva told us some bonkers stories too. And he was actually training for, I can't remember what match it was. Yeah. I mean, that guy, and he probably is in my top 3 all-time MMA fighters. Something about like, and obviously we, getting that Spider nickname, like the way I can't remember what match it was against. Maybe it was Henderson, I think in 2007 or 2008, when he just had it was wrapped around him and choking him out. I mean, that to me is some of the coolest shit. I geek out on that and kicks and I mean, pretty much all of it. I don't know how much of you guys look at it and go, I can't physically fucking pull off any of these moves. So
none of it. I can do none of it. I can literally do none of it. But I think my favorite thing to watch are leg kicks. I guess because you don't see them in boxing, and leg kicks are just so brutal, and it's something I'm not used to seeing in my whole life in professional sports or professional competition. So when I started watching like guys like Edson Barboza and Jose Aldo and the way they would kick legs, it kind of was really still my favorite thing to watch.
It also feels like a roll of the dice. I just feel like, I mean, even with Conor in that last one, it's like, I mean, I guess it was probably getting pretty worn down, but it's seeing a good kick is like the first time you saw Two Girls, One Cup. You're like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Oh, I think you're going to say it makes you hungry.
Yeah. And you immediately want to show it to some kids, because you're like, this is rare, raw footage.
Yeah. So did you watch this weekend at all? Derek Lewis, neither one of us picked him, Matt. We both had.
Oh, you didn't?
Dawkins. No, because I figured I didn't realize it was a 30-pound weight difference. I'm such a dope. I didn't realize it was like 265, 235. That's a massive difference.
It is, right? I mean, you guys probably know this better than me, but I mean, like, how much going into it, like, I mean, versus like, Poirier, who, at 155 versus 265, is that ever a true, I mean, how much, obviously, huge weight and size and strength advantage, but like, do you always pick the guy that's bigger?
Well, I mean, there's not going to be I don't know what weight difference you said right there, like a Conor.
Well, yeah, they would never match up, but I mean, like, right. Yeah, but even 30 pounds, like Jim said.
Well, look, how about this? Sometimes there's a weight classes for a reason. You know what I mean? I mean, but look at Marvin Vettori, basically fought up a weight class.
Yeah.
Right.
When he fought Paulo Costa. He basically, guy weighed in literally like, I think the light heavyweight was 205. I think the guy weighed like 204, something ridiculous. And his weight class was 185. It was something insane. So there is times when the guy will persevere, the smaller guy. But like I said, there's weight classes for a reason. You're not going to put a Conor McGregor versus a fucking Steve Baby Miocic. That shit's not. Those days are over. Unless Japan comes back with those fucking freak shows like they've had back in the day. Japan was known for doing some wacky shit. You had Genki Sudo over his Butterbean. You had some weird shit over there.
I won't always go with the heavier guy, no, but in a heavyweight, because there's you can have a 30-pound weight difference there. It's hard. Like when we looked at Stipe and Francis, Stipe went lighter, hoping that would, I guess, give him speed, and it didn't help. And the punching power is so much. The 30 pounds is just such a massive advantage that when a guy who hits as hard as Derek Lewis hits, to know he's fighting somebody 30 pounds younger, I would never take anybody 30 pounds younger against Derek Lewis. If Dawkins was like 250 and he was fighting somebody 220, maybe I would take them at 220. I don't know.
Did you read this thing that Lewis said about, I guess Dawkins was a cop for 10 years?
Philly,
and he said this was he was fighting for Rodney King, and then he said, not every day you get to punch a cop. And so there was like extra fuel to the fire for that whole fight, which, I mean, I guess you're trying to pull it from wherever you can get it, but that feels like pretty good motivation.
Yeah. Plus, Derek Lewis did time. He did time in jail. Yeah. He was his 10-year anniversary, I guess, when his Houston fight of getting out of prison. Yeah.
Whoa. All right. So extra meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and not for nothing, Dukakis was on he was doing well. I mean, he was knocking out people also. He was, his confidence was high. And sometimes when you see a guy like that up and coming, and, you've seen Derek Lewis, sometimes not show up to be in the best. Well, no, how about this? You've seen him sometimes, be on the worst end of the stick more often because he's been around more often. So you've seen him with but it's always the best guys that are beating him. That's what we keep forgetting.
That's right.
When we've seen him lose or get tired or whatever it is, then you've seen this up and comer. You're like, you forget just how dangerous Derek Lewis is. I mean, the guy, the way he timed that punch with
Curtis Blades.
Yes, yeah. It's like you're in my head, you little bird. It's like the way he timed that uppercut. I mean, he's an intelligent guy. His fight IQ. He's the king of. You think he's at one pace, and all of a sudden he'll do a fucking jumping, flying high kick. Yeah. He's got some great his athleticism is.
It's a lot more agile than I.
Than you would think. You think you're dealing with like a slow type.
Yeah.
Sloth guy, and all of a sudden
exceedingly fast.
Explodes. So I don't know.
Most KOs in UFC history now, right?
I think so, as a heavyweight at least. But I think the most. Is it the most? You know what? I probably should know that. Maybe our producer could get that. I think as a heavyweight, it's definitely. I think he tied for the record, and he obviously just broke it. Yes, with 13. Now, is that most Antonio ever, or by heavyweight? I'm going to guess by. I mean, how many fucking time. How many bantamweights are knocking out fucking 13 people? And also, Adam, one question too. We were going to ask you too. We're having different guests on over the next couple of episodes.
I love it.
What would your pick be for the UFC moment of the year? There's a lot of options, obviously, but have you looked at some of the choices, or do you have a choice of your own?
Are there some choices you want to throw at me, and I can maybe pick one from that?
Okay. Did they give these to you in advance?
No, but that's all right. Just spit a few at me.
No, I know, but why would they want the guest to have time to think about it if they're just like, here, go ahead, attack him with this when he walks in the room?
I mean, look, go ahead.
Let's see, a couple of the choices.
Any Conor fight always for me was a big event. It was probably, I mean, I know it's always fun to get a nice party going for any Saturday night fight, but for whatever reason, every time I've watched one has been this last one was at I was at West Palm Beach Improv, and we were able to get it up on the big screen and get the whole staff to come in, and then we were able to bring a bunch of people in, and it was just almost packed like a show, and we all watched it in there, and those always feel like larger than life events, and so I really dig it because of that, and also just what was at stake. That was kind of, I mean, but there was more going on outside of the ring. Why that was my favorite moment. Obviously it was short lived, but what else is on the list there?
There's a couple of really good ones. Max Holloway shouting, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC," while avoiding strikes en route to a unanimous decision victory.
Yeah, that's up there for sure.
Piotr Jan, this was one of the big. This was the one until I thought of another one. This was the one I was going to take, committing that illegal knee over Aljamain Sterling. And losing via DQ just because it was such a crazy way to have a belt change hands.
Right.
Topic again. What the hell's that question?
UFC moment of the year. Doesn't mean it has to be the best moment of the year, but to me, that was the most unique moment of the year. was a championship changing hands, an illegal knee by the downed challenger. There's also
what was the ins and outs of why it was an illegal knee?
He was a downed opponent. It was a very clearly, and the referee I think was who was the referee? Was that Mark Smith was his name? I think if I remember correctly, he warned him.
Great ref.
He's downed. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Is it Mark Smith or am I incorrect?
I believe it is.
Yeah, but he told him he was downed and he threw the knee anyway. It was a terrible mental blunder by Petr Yan. And Petr was winning the fight.
Yeah.
Diaz almost knocking out Leon Edwards in the final minute. Dana riding a bull and Dean almost getting killed by a bull. And Dana White looking for a fight. Or after a nasty bout of COVID, Shemaev returning and knocking Jing Lian and talking to him mid-fight and picking him up and slamming him down in front of Dana. What do you think, Adam or Matt?
Matt, go for it.
And this is the moment of the year. Why do we start with the hardest thing? The moment of.
I know.
And I feel it's negative if you pick the thing with. I don't even know why that's on there. The Petr Yan thing.
It wasn't a good moment, but it was still a moment. It was something unique. Although I'll tell you what mine is. Glover Teixeira. Winning the light heavyweight championship at his age and with the comeback he has made. I don't think there was a better or more important moment or a more encouraging moment because every fighter who's over the age of 33 or 35 can go, fuck, man, look what you can do at a resurgence in your career after a few losses.
Yeah, we haven't really seen that before, right? I mean,
Right.
the amount of people that probably now feel like they can still strap it on and go in there, right?
Yeah. I mean, Cormier was still fighting very well as he was getting up there. And there's a few guys that were fighting. I mean, Anderson fought for a while, but I mean, to win the belt at that, I mean, it was crazy to watch.
Is there like a Tom Brady equivalent in MMA? Like who, like, I guess like to be that successful at that age? Or, I mean, has anybody even gotten up there?
Nah.
No.
Yeah, no.
Not like that. I mean, if they do, they're going to have like 10 losses or something. I mean,
yeah,
you just can't, right? It's just your body's just enduring a different.
Well, Tom Brady lost a few. Tom Brady lost a few Super Bowls too. Like he's not. I mean, I think he was like. Am I crazy to say he was like 7-3 or 7-4 in Super Bowls?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard with the team sport thing. I mean, you could. MMA is such a sport where even the top guys, they look like they're never going to lose, whether it's Anderson Silva or whoever. Then next thing you know, it's
right.
I don't like to name other guys too who are constantly still fighting and stuff, but it starts to get like, oh man, there's a certain, like, listen, Habib is a guy that, he's the closest thing to, because he retired undefeated,
Yeah.
And he took all challenges. But listen, I was there for that Max Holloway look away, saying I'm the best boxer.
Yeah.
And
people going nuts.
Oh, you know what it was? It was in a very limited. It was in Abu Dhabi, Fight Island, and it was in a limited arena. So we had people there, but it was still not like a full stadium or anything. But I remember I was cage side. So for me, that was because when you point out to a punch here and a punch there, and this guy almost finished the fight. I love the Nate Diaz thing. That was what you talk about in a fight that he lost. That fight that everybody always only talked about that punch. That was wild. But, I never seen anybody do that the way, and people talk to each other, but he actually talked to the broadcast table. I'm the best boxer. And he moves out of his head and it was wild.
Yeah.
But I would say that, but you brought up Glover, and I have to agree with you, Jimmy. That cannot be overlooked. I don't think it's talked about enough. It's crazy. And it's a guy that, if you look at his story, because of visa issues and whatever, he was stuck in Brazil in his prime.
3 years, right?
Couldn't get over here. So he didn't start fighting in the UFC until he was in his late 30s. So
I think that benefited him just to get more reps over there before he came over here. No, or held him back.
I don't know, because he was Chuck Liddell's sparring partner, and they wanted him here because he was just, when he was in his prime, he was just
a freak.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So he could have been, and he was destroying everywhere else. So for that, young raw fucking Glover to be in the UFC would have been wild. But you got an old lion, like, you know what I mean? He's still taking out the young bucks. I was there. I think it wasn't the same event, but it was in Abu Dhabi. And I was cage side when Jan Blachowicz, who's a very intense individual, and he's known for yelling up in his opponent's faces. And before, in the cage, he walks across and he gets right up in their face and he does the fucking slice of the neck thing. And people have to, so he did that to Glover right up in his face. And he's like, this guy's like a bull. And he came out with a storm, and I seen Glover just weather it. And this is what happens. This is why you root for him. He's like, it's almost like a Rocky movie. Like he weathers that storm, and next thing you know, he gets on top and he starts beating the shit out of him and he strangles him. Listen, I'll tell you, Glover, him winning the title is definitely hands down my to me.
Yeah, it was like a George. Oh,
go ahead. It was like a Jordan what?
I was just saying George Foreman when he when he was fighting late in his career, but I find it even more impressive because he was such a slugger and had, again, he could punch a hole through a fucking building. Whereas in MMA, there are so many other ways to lose as well. There's so many more ways to be punished. So I put Glover even above that.
You said that Dana on the bull was one of the options, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Dana wasn't on a bull. Dean Thomas dodged a bull, and me and Dana, it was Dana's bull. But Dana did go on a bull years ago.
2016, yeah. I know. I bet my mom that Dana would get on a bull by the time he was 60, and we bet each other. The loser had to eat 100 milligrams of THC. My mom's still in a coma, so if you guys can donate to the Kickstarter to get her some Jamba Juice to wake up. Yeah, that.
So wait, did Dana not ride a bull this year?
Absolutely not, my little bird.
No, that's
on the sheet.
It was on the sheet that he rode. Wait, hold on. That he rode a bull?
Matt, I was there. Go down to letter G. Tell me I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe you're wrong, G. Dana rides a bull. Dean almost gets killed by a bull as a rodeo clown on Dana. Dana rides a bull. Once again, our top-notch producers making Jimmy look like a little moron.
I'm just reading them.
Jimmy, I'm sorry. Jimmy.
You're right.
First of all, you're not a moron. You just know you're being professional. I would trust what was in front of me, what was written in front of me. I thought it was a little slip when you said it first, because I obviously know the guy didn't jump on a bull. He did. Hey, listen, he did. If anybody wants to go back in the archives and watch Dana White looking for a fight on YouTube, we did ride a bull, but it was like fucking 5 years ago.
Oh, sorry. Let me say this. I thought this was the best moments of the UFC moment of the year. It meant UFC moment of a year, any year. I guess for some reason, I just thought it was 2021. My apologies.
Wow, Jimmy.
Have you guys had Chuck on the show? I'm sure you have, yeah?
For the podcast, actually.
Yeah. Quick Chuck Liddell story. We were both, when we started doing the show in Austin, and he came to my shows down there. And there was, Austin's obviously this spot is the Vulcan Gas Company, was right on the 6th Street Strip. And so there's just a lot of chaos. So there's a group of about 10 frat dudes that are just fucked up. And anytime, I'm doing my crowd work, I try to kill it with kindness at first and give them chances and try to include the distraction and keep the crowd on my side before I have to lay down the hammer. And these guys were just pretty obnoxious. We're lipping back. So I'm, handle it pretty well. And then finally, one of them started really lipping off. And Chuck was at the show. And I kept going back and forth in my head where I was like, God, should I snap my finger? Like, how much do you think Chuck is in sync with me right now? If I were just like, Chuck, do you mind handling this? Like, stand up. So the guys stand up, and as they're kicking him out, I go, Chuck, do you mind just helping these guys, just get out the door, make sure they know where the X is? And he goes, yeah, no problem. And you see this voice in the back, and he just kind of stands up, and these guys are walking out, and this kid's fucked up. And he just goes, holy shit, Chuck Liddell. And Chuck just goes, shut the fuck up, get out of here. Just kind of grabs him and shows him to the exit. And Chuck afterwards was like, he's like, man, you should have brought me on stage. You should have told me to go over there and fucking put him in a headlock. And I was like, dude, I didn't know what you were down for, but just his presence, dude, you saw in these kids' eyes just were terrified. His voice, his body, and even as he grabbed him, and it was a great balance of the kids fanning out, but also just scared for their lives. They were hard and pissing out of their ass at the same time.
Chuck is a menace. I did a set at the Improv. A very sweet guy, but he has a menacing presence. I did a set at the Improv in LA many years ago, and Chuck and Dana came. And afterwards, I was talking to Chuck in the hallway. And you know how Chuck is? He leans in. He's like, he's a giant man.
He's constantly moving, yeah.
And people walking out were watching this, and every one of them was like looking. They really thought that he was confronting me about something, because you're watching two people talk and you can't really hear. You can only see body language. So they really thought that I was being confronted by this. No one said a fucking word, too. Chuck could have been smacking me, putting his thumb in my mouth. Nobody said a word to help me.
Oh, so, yeah. If you watch Chuck Liddell in public on mute, you'd constantly feel like he was trying to talk his way out of a parking ticket. Like he's just always like back, and then he's in your face a little bit. Even if it's like a sweet compliment, he's like fucking right in your face. And it's that size. He's almost bigger in person. I don't know how. I mean, a lot of respect for anybody that ever hopped in the ring with him. Holy shit.
And Adam, what are you promoting? We have Megan Olivi coming in very shortly, and you got to come back on with us, man, when we have more time too. This is a fun hang, and you're a real fan.
I'm a big fan of you guys, man. So it was a treat to get the Zoom link. I'm on a cartoon right now called Crossing Swords. It's on Hulu. It's made by the Robot Chicken guys. It's a real filthy medieval time stop motion animation show. Tony Hale's on it, Seth Green, Breckenmeyer, Yvette Nicole Brown, and that's out now. And then Young Rock premieres March 15th. And then I'm on the show Pam and Tommy that comes out on Hulu in February. It's about Pam Anderson and Tommy Lee that Seth Rogen produced and stars in. And then
who are you playing?
What's that? I'm playing Jay Leno.
Are you really?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's about 3-4 episodes where he's, a big part of where Pam goes on the Tonight Show. And that's, it's one of those things where it was like, don't mention it. And then he brings it up. So it's like this,
I don't want to put you in a spot. Could you give us a Leno? Could you fucking?
So here we are. We got a great show tonight. We got Jim Norton. We got Matt Thera. I don't know. You pronounce it with a C or an F. He's kind of an asshole for making you guess how you spell his fucking name. But so here we go. We got here's some. I don't know if you heard about this, Kevin. Apparently 42% of women, 42% of women like to have sex after dinner. Yeah. Sex with Ben and Jerry. Boy, it's a tough crowd in here, Kevin. I feel like I get the middle seat on Malaysian Airlines. Yeah, it's a really
great.
Tough
That's
room.
Fucking great.
That's a fucking good J. It's a great J, man.
We had to find the balance of like how much lisp to have in there and how
Perfect.
much, but the full prosthetic. And then all my tour dates, AdamRayComedy.com will be in AZ for Christmas, at Stand Up Live in the Vegas Laugh Factory for New Year's.
Thanks, buddy. It's good talking to you, Adam. I'm sure we'll talk to you again.
Big fans. I appreciate
it, Adam.
All right, be good, man.
Bye, Jim. Thanks,
Take
buddy.
care.
There she is.
Hi, Megan. How are you?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Very, very good. What are you doing for the holidays? Anything phenomenal do you guys have planned?
No, I'll be going to Seattle because I work a Seahawks game on the 26th. So.
Wait, what else do you do besides MMA? You have another sports job?
Yeah, I work for NFL on Fox. So I do football sideline. So I just came back from Detroit, who beat the Cardinals. Right. So not a lot of sleep during football season, but it's all right.
My Cowboys beat the Giants too. And I say my Cowboys, I forgot they were playing. I've watched maybe 1 minute of one game. I'm a shit fan. I'm a terrible bandwagon fan.
My husband's a Cowboys fan and I'm a Giants fan. So it's always fun in our house. Yeah.
Did you grow up on football? How much did you involved in football? That's wild.
Yeah. I was always, I've been a sports fan my whole life. Like that's a brick from Yankee Stadium. And I'm definitely the sports fan in our household. My husband just like entertains me with it. Like he'll like let me watch baseball and stuff, but I love sports. So it was always just inevitable I would do something. But with the football, I don't know. It just, I was doing a good job with UFC on Fox and they wanted to give a bunch of people auditions. And so they gave me a game, and then that was 4 years ago, and I've just never stopped getting games. So it's cool.
Are you doing sideline stuff too, like you do? You're so good at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Yep, that's my role. So I do sidelines. I'll have like 12 games this year. My main team is Gus Johnson and Aqib Talib, who played for the Broncos and the Rams. So yeah, it's fun.
Oh, that's great.
One of the things we're gonna do, Megan, is we've been talking in these last couple episodes about a few like best of the year, and we're talking about a fighter of the year. There's some options they gave us. You may have one of your own. Brandon Moreno, Rose, Valentina Shevchenko, Julieta Pena because of her beating Amanda Oliveira, Kamaru Usman. So if you have any thoughts on that, you probably have better thoughts than Matt and I do.
No, well, number one, I love that it's a difficult choice to make. That just means we have so many incredible talents on the roster. I think it makes sense to pick Kamaru. He's had 3 huge title defenses, a very active champion, which you love to see because a lot of times we see our champions fight 1 or 2 times a year. And then, like you mentioned, Juliana, Rose, Valentina, the ladies certainly representing for, their different weight classes and the things that they've accomplished. But for me personally, I'm picking Charles Oliveira. I think what he was able to do against Michael Chandler to secure the belts, and then to finish off the year defending the belts against a guy like Dustin Poirier. And I like to take in what Dustin then did the rest of this year as well, defeating Conor McGregor twice in spectacular fashion. And I think Charles is such a great example of a UFC champion. He's got a story that he never gave up. He took the long, bumpy, hard road to championship, to his championship. And I just want to share this sentiment because this really secured his place for me as fighter of the year. I was interviewing him. We were just about to get started after he won the belt a couple of weeks ago here in December. And he was crying, but like a sad cry. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I don't speak Portuguese. So we have a lovely interpreter who was there to help. And I said, what's he upset about? And he said, he just found out Amanda lost. And he was so upset about his friend, even though he just had this incredible title defense for the first time. It really just solidified to me like what kind of person and character he is as well. And for me, that goes miles. And so he's my fighter of the year for what he's done in the octagon, the person he is out of the octagon. I just think he's the best. I love his story. I think he's a great example to other athletes. And he moved up weight classes, and look at the world he's found at 155 compared to 145. So he's my guy.
Well, that story, Jimmy, almost made me cry. And the opposite, it would have the opposite effect. Like when Charles was crying, it was all sweet. If I started tearing about that little story, I think also we'd see Megan's screen go blank. She'd be like, oh, this is pathetic. Anyway.
You'd see an ad go up real quick. Matt Serra needs a co-host. I wouldn't.
I like that too. And you have to look at, and it's no offense to Masvidal, that KO was amazing. And nobody's done that to Masvidal. That alone is amazing. But with Charles, you have to look at who he fought. That's one. And look at the list. How many guys, when did he fight Tony Ferguson? What was that?
That was, I want to say the end of 2020.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the year.
No, he fought, I think, just Chandler and Poirier this year.
Oh, that alone. And then look and finishing them both. And then when you look at his story, and the one thing that stands out is that meme of the first he went like first he was like 10-8, and then now he's 10-0 in his last 10 fights, or is he 11-0? Oh no, he's 10-0. But it's just amazing. It's just I love that. I love like an underdog and perseverance. I love all that, and that's
so sweet.
Yeah, it's so great the way that just all went down for him. You know, he really found himself in there. He's never been more confident. And with somebody with so many ups and downs, you think he if he would have had a shot, he would have had it already. But he's never looked better. And look at the guys he's taken out. So I'm with you on that, Megan. I think Charles Oliveira.
I'm taking Kamaru. I'm going to take Usman just because 3 title defenses.
For sure.
To knock out Masvidal and to TKO Gilbert Burns. And then to beat Colby again. He also ran through 3 really, really tough fighters. And to TKO Gilbert was very impressive. So, yeah, I'm going to take him just because he had 3 title defenses as opposed to 2 fights, 1 extra fight.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's hard to pick. Because, you could kind of find. What did you think, too, about there's a lot of finishes. This Saturday's card was absolutely incredible.
Wait, I just want to throw in there, sure. and Megan, you can add in. Yo, what about Cub Swanson?
Yep.
Wow.
For sure.
Wow, man.
Amazing.
Accurate and throwing different looks at him. He's always stances. But then just the way it finished, it was like a video game. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. And Darren's just known for being durable. And he was trying to hang in there, but he would not let him off the hook. He didn't rush in. And he was so measured that he even ended it with a spinning kick. I was floored. I was just yelling like, "Whoa!" I thought it was wild.
It was incredible. And when we talked to Cub before the fight, he was like, everybody makes this mistake with Darren Elkins where they think they can knock him out immediately. So they throw everything they have, and then they end up going into these 3-round wars, and they can't keep up. And that is not what he did. I talked to him backstage. He's like, yeah, I threw at 80%. It worked out. And then I just kept on him. But interesting, I don't know if you guys heard him say this. He's thinking about moving to 35. He wants to move down.
Wow. Did he give a reason for that?
He said he's inspired by Jose Aldo. He said, I've been fighting at 45 for a really long time. I think he is still driven by title aspirations. And I don't know if he thinks the path is easier there. It's new blood. It's more fun. I'm not sure. But he said, I think a lot of people expected him to maybe move up as he got older, but nope. He said he wants to move down and he thinks he can do it. So he told the UFC it'll be interesting to find out, what sort of path he stays on these last couple of years of his career. And
am I remembering correctly too, because you just said something about guys who they would try to finish Elkins too fast. Wasn't there a moment where they came up where it looked like Cub backed off a little bit? Not that he walked away, but you could see he was even more patient. I was surprised by how patient he was at one point when he was letting Elkins back up.
Yes, because I think he also maybe was not sure if the ref was going to stop it at that point, but you're right. He absolutely did that. And I think it was a smart plan. He conserved his energy. He didn't let his own, emotions or anything get too amped up. And he just knew, all right, I have him where I want him. I'm going to be able to finish him. I mean, he made it look easy against a guy that has, been in the deepest of deep waters with some of the toughest guys in his division. It was wild.
And has there been a time, maybe Matt, I don't know if either one of you remember this. I think there was 3 fights ended by kicks. Obviously, I mean, Elkins, I think, was kind of finished anyway, but that spin kick from Cub and Tafa Hunsaker, and also Eubanks getting body kicked by Melissa Gatto. Has that ever happened before where 3 fights were ended by kicks? I can't remember that.
That's a good question. I'm not sure. We had some statistics. I know that this was a card with, some of the most finishes that there's ever been, which is always fun because it's kind of those cards that are slept on and people are not expecting much from them. And then they just turn out to be a phenomenal night of entertainment. But that's actually a really good question. I don't know.
And Mohammed, we obviously love Thompson. What a smothering, exhausting guy he is to fight. Bilal Muhammad. I mean, that was a very impressive, because you don't see, again, it was a smaller octagon, so maybe it was a little harder for Wonder Boy to move around, but you don't see him smothered like that. Even Tyron Woodley, who is known for such amazing wrestling, he couldn't do that to Thompson for 3 rounds.
Yeah, I loved that. Matt, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm agree. I'm just saying Gilbert Burns fought similar. He ended up utilizing his grappling. So I don't know, against Wonder Boy. And in the past, like you said, really good grapplers weren't able to. So, I mean, listen, he's how old is Wonder Boy now?
39.
Fucking Wonder Man at the time. I don't know. I think, if he slows down a little bit, these guys are getting a hold of him. But he still looked good, especially like the stuff he was throwing in there in the beginning, especially. I was like, oh, he's looking so crisp. But then I guess, that game is exhausting, though, just fighting somebody off. And when they finally get you down, it's like, oh, fuck, give me a second. So I don't know. I feel for Wonder Boy. I still think he's going to, possess problems for future opponents. But you got to give Bilal Muhammad some of his due, though, man. He is coming through, I mean, I don't know. That eye poke he had with Leon Edwards. Before that eye poke, the fight wasn't really going well for him. That's the only little fucking dent in the armor there.
Yeah. Oh, he's 2 months shy of 39, so he'll be 39 in February, Wonder Boy. But I think Bilal is so talented, and maybe just I don't know why he doesn't get the credit he's maybe due. I don't know if it's because he hasn't been able to keep facing certain guys in the top 15 or what it may be, but he is so talented. He's so good. And I'd be interested to see, how they match him up in 2022. He trains at the same gym as Juliana Pena. And so it's a small team, but they clearly game plan really well. They are smart, well-knit little group there. And I feel like that we're going to see a lot of success coming out of that Chicago gym in the next year or so.
He's not with Duke Rufus no more, or is he?
No, he trains Valley Flow, Mike Valley Flow. That's his striking coach, and that's their main gym there in Chicago. And they're finding a lot of success. And I think they just do a really great job of film study and then getting their training partners to replicate what they may see in the octagon. That was a big theme between both Bilal and Juliana as they talked to us in their lead up to their fight.
The coach's name is Mike Valley Flow?
Yeah.
His last name is Valley Flow.
Yeah, I think that's his real last name, unless he made that up.
That'd be a great one to make up.
Hey,
yeah.
Man, it kind of sounds hippie-ish.
Yeah, unless it's just Mike Valley and he added the flow. Oh, yeah, Mike Valley and then he added the flow. Yeah.
Oh, listen, I like it. Well, you don't need a nickname if your name is Mike Valley.
He's a really talented coach. I think he used to work at Jackson's as well, and then he started and did his own thing there. But he's really good, and he has the trust of his athletes. And like I said, he prepares them well.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, Juliana, that was something else, man. It's strange when you've seen Amanda not like she didn't get her out of there right away. She continued. And listen, you can always judge somebody after the fact and whatnot, but like she just looked like she was even putting more juice into it to try to get her out of there. When she, I don't know. I'm just basically recapping the fight, but I don't know. I think a lot of people think that was just one of the biggest upsets ever, which it was.
All right. Well, Megan, thank you. It was fun talking about it with you. You're one of my favorite guests to come on, and have an awesome holiday. And give Joseph our best, and we'll definitely talk to you early in the new year.
Well, for sure. Thank you so much, guys. You're the best. I appreciate you having me here.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great holiday.
See ya.
All right. Take care.
Brandon, good to see you again, man.
It's good to see you, Matt. How are you?
Last time I seen you, I was in a park with roller coasters and whatnot.
Where was that?
Wait, no, that wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me.
What was that, John Good?
Oh, Matt.
It's another tall, lanky white guy. I don't fucking know. You guys all look the same to me.
I rarely run into Matt anymore, but we were in Abu Dhabi at the same time. That was
That's what it was. Jimmy, I'm way off.
Yeah.
Jimmy, this is the thing, Brendan. We had John Gooden, who looks nothing like you, actually.
No, we're tall,
He was
tall guys
a
with brown hair.
lanky white man. He was a co-host. And then I just realized your hair looks nothing like each other. You guys don't really look
His
like
a little longer. Yeah, he's got a little more.
All right, now listen, this is all going to get cut out anyway.
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not.
No, Jimmy's going to make sure it stays in. Listen, I'm so glad you're here. Not to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, which I will talk about later.
Right, okay.
I don't want the audience to tune out because they think I'm not going to talk about it. I will. But we're here to talk about Fighter of the... No, wait, what are we talking about, Jimmy?
Well, we have a couple of things left. This is our last show of the year. We got Fight of the Year with Dean, and with you, we're going to talk about what do you think Knockout of the Year was. You probably, from memory, know it there. Here's a couple of options.
Right. No, yeah. Go ahead.
Have they given you the options? Yuri Prochazka against Dominic Reyes,
right.
Ngannou Stipe, of course. Sanhagen Edgar. Oliveira Chandler, Poirier Conor 2, Namajunas Zhang Weili, Burgos against Barboza, that little stagger back, Usman Masvidal, Barnett, John Vellante, or Joaquin Buckley against Kasangane.
Right. So Joaquin Buckley against Kasangane was 2020. That was that was Fight Island. Now that is the correct answer for whatever year it was in. So I'm going to let that be the knockout of the year for 2020 because that's
on our list. That's our producers actually.
Or was it in
list.
January?
I hope.
Was it in January in Abu Dhabi? I thought it was the year before.
Myself and Jimmy both secretly, not even secretly, we just hope you're right.
Because I have a decent memory, but not.
You don't do the legwork now, Brendan. Guys, do the legwork for us. And look up your mistake.
That's the right answer if it's in this year, but I could have sworn that was 2020.
Which one? Which one are you saying?
Joaquin Buckley, the spinning back kick on.
It was October 2020.
That's right. Okay.
Thank you very much for doing the job our producers do not do. Thank you very much.
Well, when I saw it on the list, because the Fighters Only Awards, they were including that because of COVID. A lot of stuff got just pushed back, and it was like the year and a half end awards, I feel like, for some of those categories. But okay, I am biased on knockout calls because I get to call some of them. So like when I had the headset on, obviously I remember a lot of those. And then those title fight knockouts, obviously those, I don't want to say they mean more, but there's obviously more to Rose Namajunas knocking out Zhang Weili to get the belt back. But for me, it's between Corey Sandhagen's flying knee against Frankie Edgar and Yuri Prohaska's spinning back elbow against Dominic Reyes. My criteria is like the most creative kind of jaw-dropping, jump off the couch, hands to the head type of reaction from a knockout. And I called both of those. So again, I said that I'm biased, and I am, but I think it took me longer to catch my breath after Corey Sandhagen's flying knee on Frankie Edgar. I'm giving that my knockout of the year. Just a walk-off, clean flying knee. He didn't even break stride. He just kind of looked back like a badass and was just like, yep, it's over. And gosh, man, that was, there was like a stark silence in the UFC Apex because fans weren't there yet. It was just kind of the people, the crew, the commission. And it was like this, holy smokes, what did we just see? So that's what I'll give you.
I'm going to take another great one our producers suggested. Anderson Silva knocking out Forrest Griffin. I'm going to take.
Yes, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Jimmy, they're batting 1,000 so far.
They did it to us on the last episode too. Just another one that happened 8 years ago.
Right.
You don't think to read over every single one and check the dates, but I guess I have to.
Well, and now, at this day and age, every year does. I mean, 2020 and 2021 seemed like one giant, crap year.
Yeah. They do, unless you're doing research and there's a year in front of it, in which case it doesn't.
Just trying to help them out as best I can.
No. Trust me, I've tried it too many. Anyway, Matt, who do you pick? What do you think?
I'm going to tell you who I pick, and I pick Dustin Poirier knocking out Conor McGregor in their second fight. That's who I pick. Because listen, you got to think, man. When they first. I mean, the first fight, how that went down, and Conor's been looking like a savage since. There was nothing indicating why this fight should be different. It's not like Conor was fighting and looking less accurate. Who did he finish right before that? Cowboy Cerrone, I believe that's who he did him with the shoulder, with the busters over the shoulder, head kicked him. So he's looking, Oh wait! Oh, yeah, that was
that was January 2020, and then he came back January 21, and Poirier.
So I mean, for Dustin to come in there and fight a guy that KO'd him, and to do it in the fashion he did, had to take some shots and started hitting him back and pointing at him. Look, I can box too. That was fun. That was a great moment, man. So I don't know. I give it to Dustin Poirier.
I'm going to take Rose over Zhang Weili. I thought that was the most shocking one. I wasn't shocked that Rose won, but Weili had looked so dangerous standing up. And you know how it is when you really like a fighter, like you start to get nervous for them when they're fighting certain people. And I was watching, I was like, oh, fuck. I hated that fight because I like Rose so much, and I was very worried about Weili's power and just how devastating she is standing up. So that for me is the most impressive knockout. I was shocked that she won that way. I wasn't shocked she won, but I was shocked that she knocked her out in the first round.
That looked like a simulation. That was like they were standing up, and the way that Zhang Weili fell after that head kick. It didn't look overly powerful. It was just like, what just happened? That was a good one. That was a moment.
Yeah, for me it was a shot. I mean, Francis,
for a belt,
winning the title is amazing.
For a belt so early in the fight, like so much on the line, just incredible.
And that was a battle that she had with
Andrade.
Joanna Jacek. Weili.
Oh wait, are you talking about Rose or Weili?
No, I'm talking about Weili had a battle. They had a battle, her and Joanna.
Yeah, that's the last event with fans before.
And so then next thing you know, she's fighting Rose, and you're thinking, man, look at the battle she had with Joanna. So you're thinking this is going to be a fucking war, and then like the first kick she throws or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
one of those things.
It was shocking. She was the underdog too. As was Poirier. Poirier was a big underdog in that fight with Conor that first time around.
Oh, 100%. People forget.
He was like plus 200 or something, and stomped him out.
That was something else, man.
It's so hard to pick like moment of the year or this or the, because there's just so many, especially in the last. I mean, every weekend we had fights. I mean, there was so many incredible fights in the last 2 years since the pandemic. It seems like UFC was busier in the pandemic than they were before the pandemic.
Certainly busier than the other pro sports, especially in 2020 when we came back. We did 41 events, I think, in 2020, which is like one shy of what we wanted to get, which is incredible considering we had, I think, a full 6 weeks off. But yeah, I mean, and then just think of the back half of 21. Like July was when Conor fought Dustin again in the third one, but like in September, you had Volkanovski and Ortega. In October, you had Glover Teixeira in Abu Dhabi. Then you had New York City. Then you had, Oliveira and Poirier, that card that just went down. Like the cards that have been delivering on the back half of this year, like none other for a certain stretch to have just like incredible action consecutive weeks in a row. It's on fire.
Yeah, and I was happy for Derek Lewis too. I mean, it was really nice to see that. Again, I didn't have him picked. I think we both picked Dawkins, but I mean, I was happy for him when he won it, even though I picked. Every time I pick against Derek, he wins too. I'm such a stupid asshole. I don't know why I would ever pick against Derek Lewis, because again, against Curtis Blades, we talked about that last time out. He didn't look great in that fight until he threw that punch.
Yeah, that could also be like a knockout of the year candidate in terms of he was a big underdog and like wasn't really doing much, and then just lands an uppercut from hell. That gave him, I think, most knockouts of all time. That tied him, and then he finishes the year by setting the record on his own with another first-round knockout. But yeah, it was cool to hear how candid he was this past week. Like, yeah, the pressure in Houston was getting to me. It was It was really important, and it was the day that I got out of prison, August 7th, 13 years before and stuff. You don't often get that from Derek. So for him to, a lot of people, I think, just forget that he's a real human being. And then, to go out and have that result was something else.
And you must love, how many fights do you call a year? And do you ever do they just say, hey, Brandon, we need you for this one? Or do you ever get to request one like that card? I would just love to call that. Or how does that work for you?
I mean, when there's locations involved, sometimes I'll lobby. If I'm just like, hey, wouldn't mind going to Prague. Always wanted to go to Prague, or something like that, but I don't request stuff. It's just how the schedule falls. And nowadays it's every event that I called this year was at the Apex. So there was no travel involved for me. And it was just, here's the schedule and on we go. Sometimes I get, it's just on how the fights fall. Like Max Holloway was supposed to fight Yair Rodriguez in July, and I actually wasn't supposed to call that fight. And then it gets pushed back, or whenever that got pushed back to, and then it kind of falls on my calendar with the event that I was connected to. And same with Corey Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw. That was another big fight I got to call this year that was like pushed back. I wasn't going to call it. Now I'm calling it. It's just how the schedule kind of falls.
And Holloway has looked so good. When was it that Michael Bisping was like, you look tired, man. You look like a little, when was that? That was 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago?
2018. Yeah, it was 2018. July of 2018. He was supposed to fight Brian Ortega. And that was going to be the co-main event International Fight Week. That's the event that DC beat Stipe. I believe that was the event that DC beat Stipe, and they were supposed to be the co-main event there. That fight then gets pushed back to Toronto, and then Max looked great. Max beat Brian Ortega in December of that year. But yeah, man, he was on fire in 2021. They're not going to call him fighter of the year because he didn't win a belt. He didn't defend his belt or anything like that. But between what he did against Calvin Kattar and what he did against Yair Rodriguez, that guy is still on top of his game.
When did he stop sparring, or when did he say he was sparring less? Was that before after Ortega was he had lost 3 out of 4? Was he not sparring then, or when did he say, "Hey, I kind of am not doing any sparring"?
I want to say it was before the Kattar fight. I think it was before the Kattar fight in January. So like, mid 2020.
So it is recent. He's had 2 wins since then. He hasn't. Because it seems like it's really helped him a lot.
Yeah, kind of like the new camp. It just depends, man. And then we talked to other fighters and they're like, I wasn't sparring enough. I needed to like understand what it's like to be in there. It depends on, I think, where you are in your career, what you've accomplished. Obviously, Max has been in there a bunch of times. He doesn't need to get in a fight to prove that he can fight.
What's the hardest part of announcing for you? Because I'm really in awe of what you guys do. Like the ability for three people to call, to predict, anticipate what guys are doing, describe a really, really complicated positions, anticipating complicated positions. I think it's the hardest sport to call. Whereas soccer, it's like he's running up the field, he kicks the ball. You know, it's just such a different world.
I think in our role, to not get into the complicated positions, right? Like if Matt was calling fights with me and they go to the ground, what am I going to say? You know what I mean? Like I might give some backstory if this guy was a jiu-jitsu world champion, that sort of thing. But in terms of walking through the positions, that's where I lean on the analysts who, you know, they've been in the training rooms for a long, long time. They know kind of what a guy needs to do. And then they can kind of walk the viewers through what they need to do. So the analysis is, you know, left to the other guys. It's our job as a play-by-play announcer to set up the moment, give the backstory, give what's most important to the fighter, what's happening in their lives, and then to, you know, put the stamp on the moment. If there's a big knockout, if there's a big submission, you know, staying composed in the moment. And it's a heck of a lot of fun. You just got to channel the energy the right way.
So if it's you, Felder, and Bisping, you would be considered the play-by-play, and they're both considered analysts, or how does that work?
Yeah. I'm the play-by-play. I'd be like the host, if you will.
Right.
And then they're the analysts. So it's their job to kind of add the expertise and, you know, come at it with the voice of the fighter, you know, what it's like, whether it's a weight cut, whether it's training, whether it's getting ready for a fight, whether it's dealing with family life in addition to training camp or whatever these fighters are going through. Obviously, Paul and Michael have their unique experiences and their accomplishments that they can lean on, but it's all in terms of how better to describe it to the fans so that they can better understand it. And then, you know, play by play is what's happening and, you know, what it means, put it in context, you know, before, during, and after.
What about your podcast, Fitz Nation? Stories and life lessons from the UFC.
Hey,
what
man.
Life lessons are we learning on here? What do we got?
So I need to talk to you, Matt, and get you on the podcast to learn your life lessons.
Oh, Jimmy.
So, you know, it's a one-on-one interview with somebody in the world of MMA.
Oh.
And you know, it's a long form interview. There's a lot of different formats for shows and podcasts and stuff like that. And I said, not a lot of people are sitting down with one fighter and talking about their journey, what they've learned, their fights, the inside stories. And, you know, it's turned into like a personal development kind of thing too, because, you know, like Matt, like if you live the life of a martial artist, you got to do a lot of things right too in your life. Like it leads to a lot of good habits. And I think those good habits are things that people can take away and put into their own lives. So it's kind of become a little bit of that, but it's also just, you know, telling the story of where you came from, what your journey is. Like Matt, you had that high school teacher tell you you're never going to amount to anything.
You remember that, don't you?
Your speech from the Hall of Fame. But you built a pretty nice life for yourself. And a lot of people can learn from that, even though you joke around and, you know, self-deprecating and all that. But we have real conversations on the show and it's good.
And Matt told me the same thing, actually, that I was never going to amount to anything. So Matt just kind of passed it on.
I mean, stand-up comedians can have those too. I had Adam Hunter on the show and, you know, takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of battling through stuff, Jim.
Right. Yeah, I love Adam too. He's a really funny dude. He's really found a great place doing MMA stuff, and he's a funny guy. I'm very happy for him. Yeah, being a comic, we just every comedian's a comedian because we can't fight. Like that's pretty, with the exception of like Rogan and one or two other guys.
Right.
I mean, I would much rather have a left hook than than be able to do punchlines.
Yeah, but if you can outwit somebody and make them, you know, feel like put them in their place a little bit.
Guys, what the fuck happened with Chael Sonnen this weekend?
I don't know. I didn't even see the news yet.
What?
What do you mean?
Jimmy, what?
What do you mean?
There's domestic something?
Jimmy, what? You better look that up, man. We're a groundbreaking news network here for the MMA stuff.
I know.
So look that up, Jimmy. Come on, man.
Wow.
I don't know. All I know is John Jones gets on Twitter and is like, look, I'm not a type. Like, if I was like you, I'd be, you know, happy he got in trouble. Now, basically, he's doing what he's saying he's not doing by saying that he wouldn't do it. So he's saying, if I was like you, I would be celebrating right now that, but I'm not going to because I'm not like you. But meanwhile, he's clearly gloating that the guy's in trouble. I don't know what happened, but I hope he's okay.
Well, you're saying 5 different, but not, you say domestic. It wasn't at home. It was in a casino.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a hotel and something happened. I didn't say domestic. What are you talking about?
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
No,
I mean,
I said domestic because I didn't know. I didn't get the headlines at all.
Okay.
So apparently got in a big fight at a casino.
Okay.
You know, hey, listen, shit happens. I hope he's okay though.
I do too. I love Chael. It's funny, but even like, who did we talk to one time? Oh my God. He had like, he fought like 5 guys in a club one time. He's 5 bouncers had to go to the hospital.
Uriah Faber.
It wasn't Uriah, but he does have a great fight story. I think from Indonesia.
Why I brought that up?
Was it Uriah?
I don't think it was, but it might have been because he did have a fight story like that. You know, they always try to fuck with the little guy.
I guess they do, right?
You're not gonna see a tall glass of water like Brendan Fitzgerald and look to fuck with him, Jimmy. Right. They see you,
even though they'd be much better off doing that.
Might be better off.
Alistair Overeem. It was Overeem who had talked about getting into a scuffle with some bounce, and you're like what's happening in your life when you're fucking with somebody and you realize, oh, that guy's an MMA fight. Like, what a bad decision you've made.
And it's not like Overeem doesn't look the part. It's one thing if you pick on Ryan Hall and you find yourself, waking up, but
right.
Like, why would you even touch Overeem?
Overeem looks like a fucking James Bond villain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You give that guy an eye patch or something. Fuck. I don't know. He's got the big scar on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentleman.
What are you doing for the holiday, Brendan?
Hanging around here, family coming to town a little bit, just, keeping it simple. Christmas at home. The boy is 6.5. So it's, prime years of fun times, waiting for Santa, making cookies, all that good stuff. Unplugging from the machine for a few weeks, which is nice so that we recharge and ready to hit it hard next year.
Yeah. Will you watch a lot of stuff, fights or anything, or do you just kind of give your brain a chance to just go, you know what? Nothing MMA right now.
I mean, I won't watch any fights right now because I'm calling the first event of the year in January 15th. So it is truly like the off season for the UFC. It wasn't like this before. We used to have that event, New Year's weekend.
Right.
And I think when it switched to ESPN, it changes because, college football playoff is around New Year's. So they want to steer all the viewers and sports fans to the big college football games, the bowl games, and that sort of stuff. So it's kind of nice with the ESPN deal. Like we haven't had events on Thanksgiving weekend. We haven't had events on New Year's, and Christmas has been off and stuff like that. So we get to just have our mini off season of 3 weekends with no fights and enjoy the time with our families. And then it'll get busy again next year. No doubt about it.
Shows you, I had no idea why. I never made a connection with ESPN as to why the schedule might have changed. Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, different properties, you know what I mean? Different properties, different sports that they show, and busy times of the year. So,
well, Brendan, you're a great announcer, and I appreciate you coming on. And oh wait, did we? We already did the knockout of the year. I'm all over the place today. I don't have my glasses on. And
it's the last day of school. You know what I mean? Last show for you guys. Like, get it out there, and then you guys enjoy.
That's true.
But have a great holiday. We'll definitely talk to you again next year. We'd love to have you. I think it's been almost a year since you were on, so hopefully it won't be that long next time. I know you're busy, but we'd love to have you on more often. Always fun having you.
Yeah, always a pleasure to talk to you, Jim and Matt. And happy holidays to you guys, and all the best. Can't wait to come.
You
back
too,
on.
buddy. And you're great on the air too. You're
Thank
great with calling fights.
I appreciate that.
Talk to you soon, man. Take care of yourself.
Right. Happy holidays.
Be good, buddy.
It's a fun little holiday episode.
It is, yeah. We have Dean Thomas.
The weather outside is frightful. All right, Jimmy, I don't know where that gets you.
Sorry, my thing shut off.
Listen, Jimmy, it's Christmas time.
It is, yeah.
It really is. Oh my goodness.
What, buddy?
Christmas is coming early. We got Mr. Dean Thomas coming on.
Is he in yet?
I don't know. But all right, listen.
You just saw it on the prep sheet.
Yeah,
That was probably 2018. He probably is coming out in 2018.
No, it is amazing though. I like it. I like that they're messing up.
That's crazy.
Spider-Man, No Way Home. You like? I'm sitting here thinking that you've seen it because you made a joke.
No, I heard it was good though.
Now, should I do spoilers? Because people.
You can if you want. I don't care.
All right, now I'm going to do spoilers because it's been out for over a week now.
Yes. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is Dr. Octopus in it?
Yes.
I love Alfred Molina.
Doc Ock is in it.
Good.
Very good. So William Dafoe is in it. And also, this is going to be a big spoiler, but listen, people kind of got the idea.
He dies.
Well, listen.
He gets married.
Now you just jumping the gun. Hold on. Yes. Now listen, I'm giving you spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home in 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1.
Sure, that's fair.
3, 2, 1. Spoilers for the new Spider-Man movie. Okay.
Yep.
Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire is in it. Isn't that great, Jimmy? That they got the two Jimmy. Come on.
How's that a spoiler?
What?
How it's called? Isn't it like a multiverse? They're all Spider-Men running around, zapping each other and shit.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll tell you, there is some moments when they're like, "Wait a minute." They're looking at Tobey Maguire like, "Where's your web shooters?" He's like, "What do you mean? I make it myself." They're like, "Oh." You know, like, how do you do that? How does that happen? And then one of them asked him, "Does it come out anywhere else?" In other words, does his dick shoot out? Fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know why that guy would ask that fucking weird shit.
Yeah, just a little fan service.
Listen, I didn't know. I'm trying to think if what I still, and it worked. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
But, you know, would it work if I didn't see those other Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire?
Right. Would it matter to you?
I'm trying to think if it would or not. There would still be other Spider-Mans, and they kind of explain what they're doing. And they give a little backstory in this story about people they lost, whether it's Gwen Stacy or Uncle Ben. But
where's Gwen Stacy?
Gwen Stacy. You don't know who Gwen Stacy is?
No, where is she? What happened to her?
That was Andrew Garfield's that was this Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. That was his, like, basically his.
She die?
Yes. She died, Jimmy.
R.I.P. Gwen.
And it was so. And know what I like about this one? There was a part in this, and it was very emotional. There's a couple more. It got a little dusty in there. I'm not saying some people who ever passed away, but it was definitely a little. I'm glad my glasses were on. I don't want my daughters. It was me, my wife, my kids, and Uncle Ed. Yeah, he loves it too. Okay, so we're in there. We got the glasses on, watching it because it was 3D, and I'm telling you, it got a little dusty in there in certain parts, a little emotional. Okay, so be prepared to. Even you, with your little black heart, you might. I'm telling you, Jimmy, might melt it. I
think I know what happens.
No, you don't think.
There's a moment where the city lays out behind him, and Spider-Man turns around and said, "My job is to look after those little insects with my web." Is that it?
No, it's not. No, it's not it at all. Listen to me. It's a.
I know what it is.
No, stop getting some what? What is it? You don't even know.
Matt, I know what it is. Spider-Man meets a girl, and he says, "Sure, I may climb buildings, but you've climbed my heart."
First of all,
is that good?
Oh, second of all, boo. Listen to me. Andrew Garfield did Amazing Spider-Man, the second one, right?
Right.
He tried to save Gwen Stacy, who got thrown off a fucking building or something. But and he shot her with a web, and then he held it, but I think a neck snap. Something, it was crazy, and it was very emotional. And I didn't like that movie because it was a downer. Because then she died, and I thought Jamie Foxx was corny in it, even though he's cool in this one. But
he plays Ray Charles. Why is he in it?
No, listen, he doesn't play.
Hit the road, Gwen.
No. He does not play Ray Charles.
Okay.
He plays Electro. Okay, and he's very cool in this one, unlike the other one when he was kind of weird and geeky.
Who's Electro?
Electro was
Breaking 2.
Listen. So in this one,
yes. Sorry,
MJ, Tom Holland's MJ of this movie.
Oh wow!
Listen to me.
Oh, not that MJ.
What?
MJ. Okay.
Mary.
He passed. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking Michael Jackson.
No, it's not Michael Jackson. It's Peter Parker's girlfriend, Tom Holland's girlfriend, Spider-Man's girlfriend. She gets thrown off the building, and Tom Holland goes to save his girlfriend. The Green Goblin's fucking scooter thing gets in front of him. He can't do it. Jimmy, stop it. So Andrew Garfield, listen, spoilers. He jumped to save her. Deja vu. This is what happened to him in his universe with Gwen Stacy.
Right.
And he failed to save her.
That's right.
He learned from his mistakes, and he did a boom, boom, and he got underneath and he saved her. And then when he's like, this is a little emotional. I don't want to get emotional.
You won't.
But he's like, are you okay? And he said this. In this universe, he wasn't able to save his girlfriend,
right?
The love of his life. He wasn't able to save. Though Jimmy, stop smirking at this.
I'm not.
This was very emotional.
Sure.
In his universe, he wasn't able to save his girlfriend.
Right.
But in this universe, Peter Parker, Tom Holland's girlfriend, MJ, he did save her, and it was similar circumstances. So when he catched her, he's like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yes." And she saw him, and he was very emotional. Just don't get me emotional.
Oh, wait, why was he emotional?
Listen to me. He was almost crying. Like he was like, "Oh." He's like. She's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." But he was like, basically, like. You're mean. Oh, you're a fucking mean bird. Look at me now. I'm crying. I'm crying really because you're a mean guy. You're a mean individual.
No, he saved her. He couldn't save his own girl, but he saved her.
He couldn't save her, but he saved her. He didn't say that, but you saw it on his face.
Great. And did he fuck her? Did he fuck his friend's girlfriend? Be great. She took him into the warehouse and blew him. Cucked out the other Spider-Man.
Oh, fuck, Jimmy. So anyway, it was very emotional, and it actually, I never really liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but I'll tell you right now, I like him the best in this movie.
Yeah,
because that right there gave him redemption, and a little bit. I mean, the other girl's dead in his universe, but it was just a very touching moment.
Sure.
Sick fuck. Jimmy, you gotta. One day you gotta realize I'm your friend, and you gotta stop picking on me.
I love you, but it just I cried once during a superhero movie.
I know you did not. Oh, you fucking picking on me. You cried.
No, I didn't.
Champ, when he's like, "Come on, Dad." What was it? Come on, Champ.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the movie theater though, with Ricky Schroeder crying over John Voight. Of course.
He died, John Voight, in that. Did he die in that?
Yes, he did. He played I forget Billy something. Jack Warden's like, "Come on, Billy." Yeah, he played his coach. Yeah, I was 5 when I saw that.
Sequel when then Ricky ended up in an orphanage, right? No, he didn't. But what happened to Ricky after that? We never know.
You don't know. You have to assume.
You're done crying over him, and you leave just sitting there like, oh.
Yeah. I think Faye Dunaway was in that. I forget who the woman was. Was it Jessica Lange or Faye Dunaway? There was a great actress. Let's see who was in The Champ.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, from 1978.
73. It was 73. I believe so. Wait.
I think so.
No, 79. I'm sorry. I was 10.
79, man. I see
right.
Kid. And I was like 5 years old or something, so it was very depressing.
It was Faye Dunaway. I was right. And Rick Schroeder. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah.
Heroes dying like that.
I know. I was crying too because I lost money on that fight.
Jimmy. Didn't he win?
Probably. Yeah, I don't remember. I bet on the other guy.
Jimmy, listen, you should see the Spider-Man No Way Home.
I will, actually.
Because did you see the other ones?
No, I saw the first one just because I was in it. My favorite one is when Tobey Maguire is walking in part 3 and he's doing like that cool walk in part 3.
Yeah, you were in that?
No, that's my favorite. I was in the first one. But in part 3, when Toby's doing that cool walk, that was my favorite part.
They goop on him for that.
Yeah, I know.
Part 3, but it's weird because they did have all those villains. They had Sandman in there, and the guy who plays him, what's his name? They had it was interesting. I liked what they did. You know,
that sounds interesting. Yeah, and Alfred Molina, I could watch in anything. I think he's just the best. I
just remembered him from that Boogie Nights.
Yeah, that's why I like him. Yeah, it's Cosmo. He's throwing fucking firecrackers.
Yeah, what was that about?
It's just some weird homoerotic relationship he had with Cosmo in his underpants, throwing fucking firecrackers. They're all loud. And Mark Wahlberg and John C. Reilly, and I forget the other actor's name who was with them, but their reactions to the firecrackers was so good. It was such a great scene.
They were trying to rip them off, right?
Yeah, they did try.
Didn't work out though, did it?
No.
Oh, let's get Dean Thomas in here, man. He's ready to go. he is. The worst angle possible.
Good evening.
Hold on, man. I'm fixing it up. I'm fixing it right now.
5 podcasts, 10, 6, 8. How many podcasts he does a week? And look at the fucking angle we got.
I'm fixing it now.
And look at this. We got a fucking sloppy ass hotel room. Could you treat this like one of your other gigs, please? And give a shit?
I do all my gigs the same. I don't give a shit about none of them.
That's why he's good at them. No pressure.
I heard you got a lot of praise for your Stephen Smith thing at the MMA Awards.
Oh, yeah. People don't seem to like that. I'm not sure why.
You know what? Well, listen. Congratulations on that. But what I'm upset about is I thought Adam was going to do something for me and you. I didn't even know it was MMA. They don't like me at those MMA Awards.
No. You know what it was?
I never once was invited out there. Not that, you know. I never.
You know what it was? Like, it was, they hit him up like really short notice to like piece some stuff together.
Well, listen, man.
Because he said he was trying to do something for me and you.
He called me up and he's like, yo, man, we should do something with, and this was the same day. I think it happened right before I seen it. He goes, let's have you and Dean Thomas do like the Island Boys. And I'm like, I don't know how that would look. I can't really. Yeah, exactly, Jimmy. And then the same day, I see Michelle Waterson and Holly Holm doing their parody of it. I go, we can't do this now.
Yeah.
I wrote him right away. I go, this ain't going to work. He goes, I'll think of something else.
Well, he said he was going to do the Long Island Boys, but I was like, I'm not from Long Island.
It's still funny, though.
That alone not going to work.
Yeah.
But I can't picture me doing that. You know, I don't think it would work. You know what I mean, Dean Thomas?
Well, we was going to do Murtaugh and Briggs and Biggs.
Oh, that could be gold.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I was in Florida a couple weeks ago, and I get a text. It was a Saturday night. It was during the fights, one of the fights you were working, and it was Dana, and he goes, "Do you see what the fuck Dean is wearing?" I go, "No, man, I'm at the park. I'm gonna go watch it now." He goes, "You gotta see this." Then I did see it, and then there's some things that you can't unsee, Dean Thomas. Tell me about your getup, and now do you do that saying, "Hey, this is something that they're gonna talk about later because this is unusual," or you do it like, "Oh, I'm going to the ball." You like to dress up.
Yeah,
what were you wearing with that shift thing?
Yeah, my outfits are with almost all of them are with the intention for talk about. I want people to talk about them because that's my gimmick, right? Because when I'm on there with Alan Joban. He's a good looking guy, former, he just retired. Michael Chiesa, he's still fighting. So I need my thing to separate me from them.
Wow.
What was the outfit, Dean? Because I remember seeing it. I don't remember what it was.
It was I had on like a light turquoise jacket.
Turtleneck?
With a turquoise ascot.
That's right.
Hey, listen, I'll find that thing by the time you say Dean Thomas.
Yeah, it was. But sometimes I do things too, but how I pick them, I go, what is somebody else not going to wear?
That.
Yeah, right. I figured no one else would wear that.
Wow.
But who could pull it off?
You did.
I was able to pull it off because I got like a pimp vibe to me.
You and Charles Nelson Riley are the only two people that can wear an ascot.
You do got a pimp vibe to you, Dean Thomas. I always
yeah.
Dean Thomas, have you seen the latest Spider-Man movie, No Way Home?
I have not. I have not seen that, nor have I seen West Side Story, and I'm looking forward to watching both.
Why don't you watch West Side Story? When Dean Thomas, ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes,
no.
I'm ready.
When you're rejected all the way.
You're the first living to your last dying day.
Wait, say
your
that.
first cigarette.
Yeah,
why did you correct him?
Oh, did he not know that? Sorry.
I had it.
Then he said last.
It was close. I was almost there.
West Side Story stinks.
No,
are you kidding
me?
You old ladies. West Side Story is terrible.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yada da. We're gonna fight in the street and sing and dance. Yada da. It's terrible.
Officer Klumpsky,
You done it
I don't know
again.
the words either, but they're fun.
Officer Klumpkey, you done it again.
Yes,
I'd rather hear the song at the end of the Warriors when he's clanking the bottles together. Come out to play. That's better than anything in West Side Story.
No, man, I love West Side Story. You know what? Actually, I watched last night too. Wasn't West Side Story. I looked for that, but it wasn't on. I watched Bugsy Malone. That is a classic. It's a very
That's fine.
underrated gangster movie. Bugsy Malone. Watch that one.
You're not talking about the one with Scott Baio with the
Scott Baio.
with the
Yes.
cotton candy.
That's Happy Days.
Wait, no.
Oh.
Are you talking about Bugsy Malone with the when they had the Tommy guns that shot off the cream?
Yeah, Cream. Yeah,
It was a Scott Baio. That's horrible.
Scott Baio. No, Scott
That's
Baio.
horrible.
Jodie Foster. It's a classic.
I remember that, man. Dean Thomas. That was showing our age.
Yeah, I know.
But you should see the new Spider-Man movie.
I know. I'm going to see that. Everybody's talking about it.
It's very emotional. Jimmy, we just had a moment, me and Jimmy, when I was reliving one of the what happened in it, and Jimmy was goofing on me. It tugs at your heartstrings.
Plus, Tom Holland is in it, and he got hands. You ever seen him box? He got hands.
Does he really?
Yeah,
Where'd you
he
see
got
that?
hands. Look on YouTube. If you look on YouTube of him boxing, he could box a little bit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I promise you.
Well, listen to me. I like him as Spider-Man. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. But Dean Thomas, you don't really go to movies. You just do.
I tried to. Well, I haven't because of COVID, but I tried to. I love going to movies.
You're a busy man.
I love going to movies, though, man. Like movies, like going to a movie and by being by myself and eat popcorn, that is one of life's greatest joys.
Oh, you go alone? You like to go alone?
Yeah, I like to go alone.
Yeah, I did that the other day, man, when I was in Disney Springs. My family was shopping the last day of vacation. I go, look, I've seen Dune before, but I want to see it in the theater because I saw it on HBO Max. Dude, oh my God, watch Dune. That's the movie I that's one of my fucking favorites. Watch that in the theater. Dune. Dean.
Is it still out?
Fuck. Unless it's like a fucking snuff film, this little bird, he don't like anything. Anything I say, he's always like, Jimmy.
Yeah.
For a fucking guy who makes people laugh, you're a downer. You don't like anything. You don't like Ozzy Osbourne.
I do like Ozzy Osbourne.
You love Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes.
But what do you watch? What is your entertainment? You don't like comedies, they're not funny.
I like 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days.
You like stuff like that.
I like First 48. I watch a lot of. I like that show.
People getting shot.
First 48?
It's a really amazing show to watch. The break down these. Watch criminals go in there, and every time a criminal goes in, I'm like, just shut up! Don't talk to the cops. You're gonna trip. And every time they're like, well, I wasn't there. And 5 minutes later, it was like, I just went over to talk to him. And you're like, you're finished.
I watched that chapter on YouTube. And there's this guy who says a little something. It's like English guy or I don't know, Scottish. I don't know. He has an accent. He has glasses. Like, okay, let's give it a go. And then he talks about the murder. And it's like one of those murder stories. It goes over all like the sick, everything from serial killers to whatever. Just, it's like a Dateline thing, but with this guy doing it on YouTube. I love it. It's called That Chapter. That chapter or this chapter?
You're so stupid.
I think it's that chapter. It's one of those. But I like those like real, like those like the real crime stories and shit. I like to watch that like in the morning, like when I'm having my espresso and I got my iPad there. And I don't like to watch it late at night. Yeah, you can get nightmares if you ever.
I watched one episode of the First 48 once, and it was just like this old black dude, and he got into a fight and he started swinging a mop at a guy. And for some reason, I could like relate to this guy. I don't know why, but I could relate to this. This old black man was getting beat up, and he started swinging a mop at another guy, and I was like, damn. But I could really relate to that for some reason.
Swinging the mop?
Yeah, just like feeling like under attack. So you like using whatever you have to survive. Sure. Yeah, It was cool to me.
You're very good, by the way, Dean. When you go in and do your when they have you come in there with the I guess the coach what do they call it? A coach's minute or something?
The coach's role. They really don't have a name for it.
Yeah, it's very good. You always have a good something smart to say, and you always know when to duck back out. You pop in, you make a couple of smart observations, and you fucking hit the door. You know.
Yeah, like and that's exactly what I want to do. And everybody asks me, yo, why don't you want to get on a commentary team? Like, those dudes talk too much. All I want to do is go in, say something, sound like I know what I'm talking about, and get the hell out of there.
What did you think about, did you know, for me, the end of the first round with Pena and Amanda, when Amanda was kind of almost being Kimura, you knew she was going to have a tougher time for some reason. When did you see that she might be going to have a hard night? Could you tell earlier just from knowing her?
It wasn't at the end of the first. It was in the second round when her shoulders raised up. Because when her shoulders raised up, it showed me that there was some tension in her body. And with there was tension in her body, and she started to fight with tension. And she started throwing them heavy punches, and she looked tight. And those punches didn't look good. They didn't look like Amanda Nunes punches. That's when I said, uh-oh, she's in trouble. And then when she started getting hit and her legs got all wobbly, I was like, this girl is in trouble. And it didn't look good. And the old Amanda came out. And this is the Amanda that I know as a person, the one that has a lot of anxiety, the one that doesn't deal with anxiety well. And this is why, like, she gets tired in fights. It's not her conditioning. It's not anything other than the fact that when she gets anxious, her body tightens up and she just wants to get the hell out of there. Almost like a kid's first day of school and don't want to go to school on your first day. And that's an issue that she has.
Shit, I would just stomp my feet and be like, no, I don't want to go. But that's different than what happened to her. Listen, I feel that she just wanted that thing to be over with. Like,
for sure.
Like, that's why everything she threw was like, I'm going to get you out of here now. And then when she was still in front of her, jabbing her in the face and then actually getting that clinch and getting her down, people are like, oh, how could you? This is the untrained people or the people that just roll jujitsu and they never been in a real fight. They're like, how could she even tap to that? How could she tap? It's like, dude, she was exhausted. It's not like she was about to go to sleep. Like, I think she was just like, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, the choke didn't even look like it was in fully. It was more so just get me out of here. Like, I'm done. I want to go home. That's really what it was. That was her anxiety talking to her. Her anxiety crept up on her and was like, get me the hell out of this situation. I'm scared. Take me back to mommy. That's what that was. It wasn't that, and again, like, that's an issue that I think she had in her career before, but she got over that and it crept back up on her against Juliana Pena.
Interesting, because her face looked different. Like, watching her, you're right. Because I don't make the observations you guys do. I don't see a fight with the same precision you do. But just as an untrained eye, watching her face, she didn't look like the same Amanda in the face. Even she just looked uncomfortable. I couldn't place why, but what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy, think about it. Like, your first time doing comedy was probably like, I don't know your personality in terms of like how you grew up, but like your first time on stage, you're like, oh my God, this feels like your heart's beating. You can't get the jokes out. You're different. And just because you fight doesn't mean that like you're going to be able to deal with that better. Some people deal with it better than others. Sure. But we assume that because you're a fighter, that it's just easy to deal with. But some people still don't manage it well. Right. And if you don't train it consistently, you lose it. And I think that's what happened is that, she's not a gym rat. Like she's just not in the gym all the time. She does train for fights, but she's not in the gym all the time. These things aren't natural for her. So when that fight happened and she got that pressure and that stress hit her, she was like, yo, get me the hell out of here.
Well, listen, let's talk about what is it? Fight of the what's
I think we're talking about fight of the year. We've this last episode and this episode, we've gone over a couple of like monumental things from the year, the best of this. And here's a couple of fight of the year contenders, Dina. McGregor 2 against Poirier, Riddell Drew Dober, Ponzinibbio against Baeza, Sandhagen Dillashaw, Volkanovski Ortega, Gaethje Chandler, Rodriguez Holloway. There's a lot of really good options here. Unless there's one that's not on that list.
No. I like all those. However, the one that stands out to me is Chandler Gaethje.
Yeah.
I think to me that was the best fight of the year. All the other ones were good, but that fight had everything you can ask for other than a finish. But it didn't need it because like the storylines, the back and forth, the almost getting knocked out. I mean, it was just so good and entertaining and dramatic in moments that to me, that was the best fight of the year.
Volkanovski Ortega was pretty amazing too. Volkanovski survived. What round was it? The third round when Ortega was in deep on a choke.
I think it was the fourth.
Was it the fourth round?
Yeah.
That's I think everybody knew Volkanovski how good he was, but I think that cemented him in everybody's mind. Like, yeah, the fights with Holloway were a little questionable, but I mean to survive that and then go on to win, very impressive.
Yeah, I thought about that being like the fight of the year, but to me, without those two moments in the fourth round, to me it was a bit one-sided. Like I thought that Volkanovski just beat him up, and it was one-sided. But for him to escape those, which made it more dramatic. But other than that, I thought it was more one-sided. With the Gaethje and Chandler fight, I thought it was so close, and both guys at times were like almost done. That's why to me that was like even Ponzinibbio and Miguel Baeza. That to me was another good fight. That was a dog fight. That to me was probably even better to me than Yair, or not Yair, but the fight with Volkanovski and
Ortega.
Ortega, yeah.
There's fights that obviously the fights that we're talking about, all of them, they're barn burners. And when they're happening, you're invested and you're like, what's gonna happen next round? And that's what makes them. That's what makes them so great, and that's why they're on this list. But I'm going a little deeper. It's not that it had the most action, even though it did, but everything going into it, everything that was at stake about the redemption factor. And that's the Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor too. I mean, Dustin got smoked the first fight. It wasn't a very competitive fight. He got knocked out in the first round. And to come back and to beat him the way he did after taking a couple of shots, and you got to understand, look at when he did it. Conor was looking pretty much unstoppable. I know he had that fight with Habib, but besides that, he came back and he did what he did with Cowboy Cerrone, and he looked great. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's the Conor that fought Eddie Alvarez. Look at him, and he's amazing." And then he's fighting a guy that he beat. When they first made the fight, they were actually like, well, he already beat him. And now look, they put Dustin back in the limelight because he had to beat a guy that stopped him, in brutal fashion, and he did it in brutal fashion the way he ended it, and it was the way it was good. Even that first round when he was getting tagged, and all of a sudden he did a counter back and he pointed at him like, "Hey, look, I know how to box too." It was something else. And even though those other fights, I was invested when I was watching them, and there was so many good moments. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, this and that. But that other fight was, I don't know when that fight was with Poirier in
January.
Hey, look, man. So, I mean, it was almost a year ago, and I still have vivid memories of the stuff that went down in that fight because of all the history with it. So, I don't know, man. I think that fight was the one that stood out the most to me. So, I'm going to call that my fight of the year. I'm
going to take Gaethje Chandler. I mean, that was just such a back and forth, punishing fight, and they were both so damaged at the end of it. For me, that was just the one I enjoyed the most, I think. But there's so many great fights.
Yeah, Matt, what you're saying about the Poirier McGregor fight, the second one? Yeah, I almost agree with you. Like that was almost my fight of the year, and it was almost my moment of the year as well because there was so much involved in that, so much at stake. And you're right, Conor was looking good up until the point where he was getting beat. I mean, his hands were looking good. He was looking sharp boxing. He was touching Dustin up. But as soon as Dustin made that adjustment and turned it around, and it happened so fast, it was like, wait, what just happened? And then when he knocked him out, you're thinking like, oh my God. I mean, that was a great, great moment of the year. To me, it was almost my moment of the year, and I can see why it would be your fight of the year because there was a lot at stake and so much emotion and connection to everybody else in that fight with both fighters.
And not to switch gears here, but wait, Jimmy. Oh yeah, Jimmy, you picked Gaethje and Chandler.
Chandler, yeah.
You got to feel for Angela Hill a little bit.
Ooh,
she's on the wrong. You don't want to say the wrong because listen, when fights are close, I get it, but it just seems like she's on the short end of the stick.
She can't get a break.
That's the short end of the stick. Like, where it's like, man, really? Like, you really think she lost this fight? Like, what are you looking at, really? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know why, like, because she's really looking great. Like, in these fights that she's losing is really razor thin or just downright wrong. So I don't know, man. I always like to see a fight, and it looks like she's getting, even though she's losing some of these decisions, I think she's looking better and better every time she fights.
Yeah, I have no idea why she's losing these decisions. Like, you look back at them and you go, what is she doing in her body language that's not allowing the judges to favor her? It's got to be something in the body language. Maybe it's, she moves her feet too much and they think she's trying to be too flashy and they don't like that. But there's something that she's doing that judges consistently don't like that's not allowing her to get these rounds.
Yeah.
And that's something that she has to look at. But I don't get it neither. There's like, how in the hell can she be going on this run of losing split decision after split decision after split decision in which everybody else, most fighters think that she's winning?
Nah. You got me, man. I don't know, but I just wanted to give her some love because, we're big fans. And, listen, the people know what they're watching. You know what I mean? They're not like, oh, what is she doing in there? Keep losing. No, dude, she's getting a tough time with the judges, what she's having.
Yeah, 6 fights in a row have been decisions, and of the 4 of them have been losses, and three of those 4 have been split decision losses.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hey, Dean, what are you doing for the holidays, man?
Man, I'm not doing anything. I'm trying. Actually, you know what? I might try to come to New York.
Wow, what are you doing in New York?
I don't know, man. Like, because I don't really have nothing else to do. Like, there's nothing to do. Like, there's no shows. There's no fights. Everything is like in transition. So I'm just going to try to enjoy myself and chill out and just maybe travel a little bit.
Well, if you're in New York, let me know because I'll be in New York for part of it. I'm going to see my family. So it'll be great to see you if you happen to be in the city.
Yeah, I will. I like to travel. It's cold up there now too, and Florida's still hot. So I want to experience some cold air for a little bit before
everybody gets so bummed out with the cold weather. I don't mind it. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy, like sometimes he breaks out in a song. He goes, Matt, seasons change, people change. I go, Jimmy, that's enough. I get it.
No, he likes when I do it. He likes when I do it if I oil up my bosoms while I'm doing
it. when you're singing those songs?
Yeah. I put baby oil on my bosoms. Matt likes that.
Gross. Guys, listen to me. It's been a hell of a year.
Yes.
I think this is goodbye. Wait, JD, what do you want to plug, man?
Yeah.
Plug some shit, Dean Thomas. Plug one of your 50 gigs that you have going.
I don't know. Like everything, like I said, everything is slowed down right now. So, everything is slow.
We shot an episode of Looking for a Fight. It's yet to air, but who knows when that's going to air. But I hope it airs soon. And
yeah, we shot that one. That's it.
We're shooting another one in February.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Oh,
I can't wait to that one. Dude, I know some of the stuff we're doing, and I'm just telling you, I don't think that you're gonna like it.
Why does he do that? Now he's being a bully. All my friends are bullies.
I'm teasing. Hey, speaking of bullies,
do you know what it is?
I know one of the things that we're going to be doing.
Tell me later. I want to know.
But I will tell you this though. Why you let my little cousin do backflips on your Instagram page?
Now, first of all, I gave a blue belt to young Marcus. And everybody this kid is such a good kid. And if you look on my Instagram, that was this morning at the 7 a.m. class. And he's a kid that he's there more than me. He's always at the school. He's got his little brothers there. He's such a good kid. Everybody loves young Marcus. And he goes into all the local tournaments and he takes road trips to do a tournament. So he's been depressing a lot of blue belts and higher. So I gave you Marcus. It's not Dean's brother, but it does look like a young Dean Thomas. He's doing the back. I think he's so happy he's doing back.
It's my little cousin. Like my little cousin out there, so excited.
He's a good man. You're going to meet him one day when you come out. He's one of my favorite people. But Jimmy.
I got gigs. February 17th, New Hampshire. The 18th, 2 shows at the Wilbur in Boston. Early shows almost sold out. And the 19th, I'll be at Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut. And Dean, have a great holiday. Matt, always, I'll probably talk to you over
Jimmy,
the course of the weekend.
Maybe it's the holidays right now. I'm looking at you and I'm picturing you in a little elf outfit with that little like Rice Krispie hat, that little thing on like this.
I'm going to be perched in a tree.
I can picture you just hopping around. Like,
I picture Jimmy dressed like the Grinch with just a Santa jacket, no pants, and a hat.
Well, you're both right.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Jimmy. We're gonna have I'm looking forward to another year of seeing you twice a week. Who knows? Maybe we'll bump it up to 3 times a week. You never know. We could only make a little wish.
Oh no, we know. I was thinking of going down to once a week.
Everybody, on behalf of UFC Unfiltered, happy, merry. Listen.
Merry.
What?
Yeah, we'll see you soon. A week or so.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Have a great holiday, guys. Take
Worst
care.
goodbye ever.
No, it was
Peace.
phenomenal. Bye-bye.